evening and welcome to this edition of News Leader on 6. Today is Tuesday, August the 3rd, 2021. I'm Andrew Todd. In tonight's news, Coffee County in Tennessee as a whole sees a rise in unemployment. Franklin County Jail has recently had 38 inmates test positive for COVID-19. And Tullahoma citizens in the Forest Drive area joined together to oppose apartments coming to their neighborhood. We'll have all these stories and more on tonight's News Leader on 6.
I am tremendously blessed to be living at Parkview and very happy to be part of a loving and caring community.
Best thing you can say is this really a great place to live. That's all there is to it, no doubt about that.
It's your home. You just do what you would if you were at your private home. You know, we love it. It's great.
It's just like having a whole neighborhood around you, and it's fun.
It's just a great place to live.
The Bookshelf in Tullahoma is the fundraising arm of the Coffee County Literacy Council. Since 1988, the Literacy Council's goal and purpose has been to support and promote adult basic education in Coffee County. We enable individuals to complete their high school equivalency exam, which helps them get better jobs or continue into higher education. The Bookshelf at 114 Southwest Atlantic Street in Tullahoma is where we sell used books, which are donated to us by the community. Come see us, bring your books to donate, and join us as you find every genre of books that you can imagine.
Welcome back. The Franklin County Sheriff's Office has been and is dealing with inmates and employees that have been exposed to the COVID-19 virus. On July 17th, it was determined that the jail had 38 inmates that were positive for the COVID-19 virus. At the inception of the problem, jail staff and the jail physician put into place all the approved and required CDC guidelines and protocols for combating the COVID-19 virus. Quarantine and medical treatment are just two of the guidelines being used to ensure the safety of non-infected persons, and the care of positive patients are a top priority. All of the inmates who are testing positive for the virus are receiving optimal medical care, and to date, no one has been required to be hospitalized. Also, 10 inmates returned to work July 29th after receiving a negative COVID test and after going through the protocols put in place. Franklin County Sheriff's Department said that the corrections and medical staff will continue to implement all proper and required guidelines and policies to combat the spread of the virus. Deputies and staff are also following policies and guidelines to minimize the need for citizens to enter the jail, such as any business that can be conducted in the parking lot by a deputy will be done that way. If anyone needs a deputy to come to their residence or respond to a public need, of course that service is still being provided. Any inquiries about the jail or policies and practices may contact the Public Information Officer Sergeant Chris Guess at 931-962-0123. At last week's Tullahoma Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting, the board considered a rezoning request from Ernie Hobbs to rezone 704 Forest Drive from R1 low-density housing to R3 high-density residential. Developer Ernie Hobbs addressed the board, and then several residents spoke to the board opposing the plan.
We are the owners and managers of this property at 704 Forest Drive, and it was built back in the 30s, 40s, something like that. It was an old water plant for Tullahoma. And back in the 90s, they were actually converted to apartments. And so there's actually 4 apartments here in this building. It sits on about 1.6 acres, and our office gets called every day for rental property. People are really trying to find a place to live right now. So you can see a lot of the empty space that we have around these apartments. And since these apartments are so old, we had decided to go ahead and knock them down and build some additional units on here that would be brand new and would allow additional rental property for those that are looking for a place right now. A total of 4 units that we actually have, with again the entrance still coming out on Forest Drive and Country Road.
I stood here 12 years ago to speak on this very same issue. And it was declined because this was a very unusual neighborhood where basically extremely low density housing, 1 to 2 people per house basically.
So my house is the one that's going to be right next to that one. I have an 8-month-old and a 10-year-old, and they love to play out in the yard. I have dogs. And we already have enough traffic going through there. We just had a 3-car pileup in a neighborhood that's right on that road. I moved over here about this time last year because I felt that it was a good community. It's an older community, but it's also established. So that everybody's real nice and welcoming, and everybody tries to watch out for everybody. And that's what I wanted for my kids to grow up with.
I am extremely opposed to the rezoning of this.
I'm getting older. This is hopefully my last home, and I would like to think that it's my last safest home. My concern, as many of the people have expressed, is safety and vulnerability. More than property value, I think we value our lives and the things that happen when you bring multiple units into a community.
I wanted to address not the traffic, but the parking. And if you have, how many units do we have?
Up to 23.
Up to 23. Okay, multiply that by 2 cars per unit. Let's just call it 40 cars. There's room for 40 cars to park. Do they do like they do over on Avoca Road, where sometimes on a Friday or Saturday night, somebody doesn't have room in their driveway, they're parking on the sidewalk on the other side of the street.
When we purchased our home 2.5 years ago, I thought this was going to be a very quiet area and no traffic. And that's it. It's not.
My mailbox was taken out on Friday. It is a very narrow street and it's a lot of traffic. But I moved there so that my family could go to the walking distance to the surrounding schools. And, without sidewalks and with the current traffic situation that we already have, adding more units is just going to exacerbate that, and it makes me worried.
In the mornings when school traffic's coming there and afterwards, it's awful. It's bad. We do not have the sidewalks, as everybody knows, enough sidewalks to support the kids driving back, getting back and forth and stuff. And as far as traffic, it's gonna kill us neighborhood. It is. So I disagree on doing this. I would love for Tullahoma to grow. People need to build, but not in that area.
I think you can look around. Everybody who is here to object to what you're doing at 704. Everybody. So if I were running this meeting, it would be very simple. How many here oppose the rezoning of 704? 704, not rezoned.
Normally, I would err on the side of the property owner. However, I work for the people. And if this is not something that the people want, then I have no choice whether or not I want to approve a property owner's rights, but to side with the people and what you guys want.
Is everyone ready to vote? Yes to deny.
Sorry.
The vote is 7-0 to deny.
We'll be right back after these messages.
It is wonderful living here. I don't have responsibilities of a house. I don't have all the work that goes with a house. And you can just relax here and be happy.
There's no set thing that you have to do. However, the offerings that they give you, it's wonderful. I think the biggest thing about Parkview that is most significant to me is that we are family.
Suicide prevention starts with everyday heroes like you. Join us on September 18th at Manchester Rotary Park at 9 a.m. as we walk to fight suicide and raise awareness about mental health. Be a part of the movement turning hope into action and create a culture that's smart about mental health. Funds raised at the walk will benefit the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Sign up at afsp.org/coffeecounty.
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails. Welcome back. At the recent retirement of Tullahoma Fire Chief Richard Chasteen, Tullahoma City Administrator Jennifer Moody spoke about her time with Chief Chasteen.
It is hard to thank somebody for 30-plus years of service, especially as exceptional as your service has been, and I hope you are getting a sense of the gratitude and how indebted we feel. Those of us who've worked with you a short time or a long time, I think all are saying and seeing the same things. So, I just wanted to say, some of the things I noticed in trying to prepare for what to say today, I looked back at 1980s and what was going on at that time, and a couple of things seemed to make sense. Top movie was Top Gun, A Need for Speed. I think we've heard there may be some similarities there. Top song, this stuck with me. The top song at that time was That's What Friends Are For. And I think you're hearing all of us echo that you've meant a lot to us and are more than just a coworker or a boss. You've been a friend. Also, thinking back, I think from your first day to your last day, you've given 100% of yourself. And nobody has dedicated more of their talent to making sure that the families in Tullahoma and our businesses are safe. And I appreciate that. And I also look over to Pam and to Jackson, and I have to say thank you to you, because I know he couldn't have given so freely of his time if it weren't for your support all of those years. And I look forward to the fact that in your retirement, you're going to give some time back to your family. So thank you all. Also, just like Spin said, every day that he has been with the city, he has made continuous progress to improving the facilities here, to improving the equipment, and to improving the capabilities of the men and women that work here. And there's no doubt that he has built a strong succession of leaders and men and women of character behind him that will continue to carry this department forward. And so I thank you so much for that. I think that's probably your greatest legacy and your greatest gift to us. And then just like you've heard from so many others, he has so many great qualities that we could talk about. I was thinking through his attention to detail. I used to tease him. I don't think that there is a more observant person maybe in the world, the most observant person I've ever met. He doesn't walk by a problem, whether it's this big, looking at a clock on the wall and seeing it needs to be reset, to a big issue. He's going to stop and he's going to take care of it. And I know for one, I'm going to miss that so much. One of the other things I remember is, just to me personally, Richard was really one of the first people that reached out to me and made me feel welcome coming to Tullahoma, being a new administrator. And it wasn't where we at on that, but it was, did you think about this? Did you consider that? Did you know this? And telling me the history and the backstory, and making sure that I had thought about the employee's perspective, had thought about the citizen's perspective. And so I don't know where I'm going to get that kind of insight going forward, but I'm just so grateful that I had you to help me make some good decisions in the years that we've been together. And I also want to say, thinking back in this short time, we worked together through 2020, and I think that should be worth a decade, probably. But we wouldn't have made it through this pandemic without some of the skills and the talent that people have talked about. Richard's really that person who pushed everybody around him to think ahead, think about the worst case scenario, so that our citizens out there hopefully weren't having to think about what they would do, because we already had a plan. And took the initiative, I think, to work with our hospital, work with our local businesses, make sure everybody was doing that type of planning and preparation for really what was an unknown and unprecedented event in our history, and we were better prepared because of you. I also just want to say one of the, things that I'll really remember and what I think is probably his best quality, and it's been said tonight or today, is his heart, the way that he cares and truly cares about not just the men and women of the department, but all of the community, and his passion for this work. I think that passion, what I've seen is it's infectious. It makes each and every one of us want to dig a little deeper and remember the significance of what we're doing. And I hope we carry that forward and make him proud of all of us in the future. Last, I just want to say I know you're looking forward to retirement. It is well deserved. And I just want to thank you for your leadership, your courage all these years, and your heart. And you will be missed truly beyond measure. So thank you so much.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
It's not invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. Get to Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
All right, the cat's out of the bag at Carroll Street Liquor in Tullahoma. Now you know where to go if you're planning a get-together and want the ideal wine or spirit. Party planning can be stressful, but at Carroll Street Liquor you'll find everything you need. Mixers, gift sets, and all of your favorite spirit brands. So if you're feeling the pressure to pull off the ideal party, come to Carroll Street Liquor and select among the seemingly endless supply of wines, spirits, gift sets, and more. Your perfect party, it's in the bag with Carroll Street Liquors.
To be honest, I was skeptical about getting the COVID-19 vaccine.
I checked what the CDC says and spoke with my doctor about the potential side effects. It definitely made me much less anxious. She told me if I have some arm pain or feel tired, that's completely normal as my body builds a defense to the virus.
I was willing to take the vaccine to protect me, my family, and my friends.
Join the millions of Tennesseans who have decided to give COVID-19 vaccines a shot. Visit covid19.tn.gov to find an appointment today.
Welcome back. Also at Chief Chastain's retirement, Jim Griffith spoke about Richard taking over the Tullahoma Fire Department and reaching out to citizens.
First off, I'd like to call Mr. Jim Griffith.
I'm Jim Griffith. We haven't met most of us, but I've been around the town for the last 30-some years. I started back when C.B. Watkins was your chief. And back around 1987, I met him at the Chiefs Convention over in Nashville. I work for the National Fire Safety Council, which is an organization that provides fire safety materials to departments and helps them to do their programs and things of that nature. You have a fire student in town called Fire Pup. I know most of you know about him. And we're the ones that helped you to get him. There's also a new one coming in. Plus you just got a safety pup suit, which the police department is going to be able to enjoy. And that's thanks to Chief Chastain. But Chief Chastain and I have been familiar since he became chief. I think it was 2007, wasn't it, Chief? So that's the last 14 years. And I like Tullahoma. It's a good place. And I'm thankful to be able to work with you. I have been doing it for many years. But the chief asked me to come to his retirement today. And I thought that I should come and show our respects and also to present him with, go up here, Chief, with an award from the Fire Safety Council, National Fire Safety Council, for this dedicated service in working with the children in the community and the community at large. I mean, to keep fire safety going in town. We really appreciate Tullahoma. It's always been behind their efforts, and we have raised probably a couple $100,000 for you in the last 30-some years, or something like that, 100 to 200,000. But we have tried to keep you supplied, and Chief Chastain has been a great helper, a great worker with us, and your whole community is safer because of him and the department, and we just wanted to show our thanks and appreciation. And God bless you all, and thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to you.
Thank you. Oh, Cracker Barrel, food carts. I'm gonna need those. Thanks, Jim. Appreciate you being here, and I want to recognize also Melissa Allen, our community risk coordinator, because she coordinates all the school visits, and our education program is much better because of her and the groups that go out, the firefighters, every year go out and visit with children, and that's what it's all about. If we can prevent those fires, then our guys don't get put at risk trying to fight them. So we focus, a big focus on that. And I appreciate Jim, I appreciate everybody in town, a lot of you here that have donated to this program, your businesses, personally, it means the world to us, so just keep it up. Thank you.
We'll be back with more News Leader after these messages.
I can think of this wonderful little woman that I had. She said, I can't talk. There's nothing there. And she said, I want my voice back. After the first session, she was loud. I'll never forget this. She said, there's a voice in me still. Whether it's Parkinson's or a stroke or whatever, they are not at the bottom, but they can always get better.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
I was skeptical about getting the COVID-19 vaccine. There are a lot of opinions being shared. But I had the chance to talk with my doctor about my concerns. He told me the vaccines are backed by decades of research, and that the vaccines are proven safe and effective. Now I'm protected and ready to put this pandemic behind us. Join the millions of Tennesseans who have decided to give COVID-19 vaccines a shot. Visit covid19.tn.gov to find an appointment today.
The individuals with dementia, those with Parkinson's, those that have maybe mobility issues, need caregivers. Well, those caregivers are 24 hours a day at home, and they never get a rest. And if they have to go to work, they're kind of out of luck. So that's why Trinity came into existence 25 years ago, to allow the caregivers to have a safe center where they could put their loved ones, know they would be well cared for, stimulated, fed good nutritious meals, have activities to their level, and then the caregiver can stop by and pick them up and go on home and have some continuity into their life.
Welcome back. Each June, Tennessee counties experience an increase in unemployment as schools close for summer break and lay off workers. Recent college graduates entering the workforce for the first time also impact the data each year. Once again this June, data from the Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development showed jobless rates increased in each of the state's 95 counties. In Coffee County, the unemployment rate for June stands at 5.3%. This is up 0.9% from the rate of 4.4% in May. The 5.3 rate is still far ahead of June 2020 when the unemployment rate stood at 10.2%. While county rates increased in June, the statewide rate ticked down. This can occur because county unemployment rates are not seasonally adjusted, while the state and national rates use the seasonal adjustment to eliminate outside influences such as school closures on the statistics. In June, unemployment rates were less than 5% in 19 Tennessee counties. 75 counties had rates 5.5% or greater, but less than 10%, and one county showed a rate higher than 10%. Williamson County recorded the state's lowest unemployment rate, 3.4%. The county's June rate increased 0.7% from the previous month. Perry County's rate jumped to 13% in June, a spike of 5.9 percentage points when compared to May's rate. The statewide unemployment rate for June decreased 0.1 of a percentage point to 4.9%. That is 4.4 percentage points lower than Tennessee's rate in June 2020. Nationally, unemployment increased slightly in June from 5.8% to 5.9%. This rate is down 5.2 percentage points when compared to June 2020. The state has valuable resources available to help unemployed Tennesseans become Tennessee work ready and re-enter the workforce. They can visit www.tnworkready.com to find online and in-person assistance with their job search. And don't forget to tune in to this week's Living Show tonight at 6:30 p.m., Thursday morning at 9 a.m., and Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evenings at 6:30 p.m. This week's guests include Tullahoma's Winston Brooks, who has more details about Tullahoma's 2040 planning project, And we'll sit down with Tullahoma Wildcats coach John Olive to learn about the upcoming high school football season. All that and more on this week's Living. And stay with us, we'll have your weather forecast right after these messages.
The food at Parkview, well, I haven't had a bad meal there yet.
The food at Parkview is absolutely scrumptious. I mean, it is really good. It's just like home cooking.
And then there are the cookies. Oh my, they bake cookies every day and they are super.
The food is truly incredible, and it's like being on a cruise ship.
Hello, I'm Ray Norris, Mayor of Tullahoma. I want to thank the citizens of Tullahoma who've been following the CDC guidelines for helping prevent the spread of COVID-19. You've been wearing your mask, you've been getting your vaccinations, and I'll tell you, it's working. Today, our positivity rate is less than 5%. That's the lowest it's been since the earliest days of our pandemic. So, now I want to urge each of you to continue to follow these guidelines, and together, let's get this pandemic behind us and get our country back to the old normal where we need to be. Thank you.
We're losing it, Doctor.
Not on my shift. Quickly, brush. Roller.
What a transformation. It's gonna be okay.
Okay, nothing.
At Paintworks of Tullahoma, we specialize in domestic emergencies with Martin Senior Paints. You can be the paint doctor too when you treat your home with Martin Senior interior and exterior finishes.
Doctor, we've got another one.
Got you covered.
Paintworks of Tullahoma. Come see the paint doctor, Stat.
Welcome back. We'll take a look at your weather forecast at this time, starting with your weather history on this date. Our record high was in 1931 at 99 degrees. The record low was in 1920 at 53 degrees. The average high for this day is 88 and the average low is 68. Partly cloudy for tonight with a low of 62. 40% chance of storms on Wednesday with a high of 83 and a low of 63. And sunny skies expected for Thursday with a high of 85 and a low of 66. And that's our News Leader Report for this evening. We invite you to join us each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday evenings at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. for News Leader on 6. Stay safe and have a great evening.